Hello, I'm Greg Davis, Fire Marshal for Brighton Fire and Rescue District. Today we wanted to discuss fire investigations and your role as emergency responders and fire crews. Throughout this presentation we'll be discussing a few important items for you to consider. When en route, when approaching a scene, upon arrival, and during fire suppression efforts and salvage and overhaul operations. For you, this starts with the initial dispatch information, and when en route, it's important to note weather conditions, if there are factors that delay the response, and when approaching a fire scene and upon arrival, it's important to pay attention to bystanders and residents, the appearance of people, and do they appear to have anything unusual about them? Are there people leaving the area, the time of day, the stage of the fire, the location of the fire? Is there forced ventilation? What do the fire and smoke conditions look like? Is the fire spreading rapidly and unusually? During fire suppression efforts, how was the access into the site? Did you have to make forced entry, or did the doorway into the building appear to have been previously forced open? Is there any unusual odors? How is the fire reacting to suppression efforts? Are there any unusual conditions? Firefighter observations are extremely important when determining where the fire originated, the circumstances at the scene, and eventually the cause of the fire. Firefighters should report observations to the officer in charge, and if possible, avoid excessive overhaul. When removing debris, consider the possibility of reconstructing the scene in order to assist with the investigation. And finally, watch for evidence. When conducting overhaul, you have certain priorities. These include protecting firefighters and civilians from exposure to injury, searching for hidden fire and complete extinguishment, ensuring that fire debris does not impact the neighborhood, and lastly, if possible, restoring the building to a livable condition. When fires occur, investigators should expect that evidence not damaged by fire may be displaced during suppression, salvage, and overhaul. While on the fire scene and prior to the arrival of the investigator, efforts of firefighters should be toward the protection of the scene. The officer in charge is authorized to place barricades and other items in the area to prevent accidents or limit interference with the scene. Items to consider during scene preservation. If possible, limit the amount of holes in walls, ceilings, and floors. Identify fire protection devices, suppression equipment, and other equipment in the area, and if possible, find out if they worked properly. And remove items only if necessary in order to protect the area of origin. It's important to keep bystanders out of the area. If needed, use fire scene tape. There are times when a fire can involve both criminal and civil circumstances. Therefore, evidence should not be arbitrarily taken, moved, destroyed, or altered. Firefighters should handle evidence, if necessary, in order to extinguish the fire. If possible, avoid fire operation impacts. This includes keeping firefighters and crews out of the area if they are not needed. It's always best to leave items as you found them. There are times that what appears insignificant may be critically important. When securing fire scenes, officers should think about law enforcement involvement. Lastly, when investigators arrive, they will want to know a few things to include. What did the scene look like when crews arrived? What was the stage of the fire? Was anything removed in order to suppress the fire and during overhaul? As investigators, we know nothing involved with fire investigation is an absolute. We expect variations, and our job is to be the finder of facts to determine the origin, cause, and circumstances surrounding fires. Teamwork goes a long way, and here at Brighton Fire Rescue District, the team makes it all work. We hope this information was informative. Thank you and be safe.